Evidence. Tonight, see what truly exists inside the world of the paranormal. Inside. Join the discussion and review some of the best paranormal evidence captures from a wide variety of experienced and up-and-coming investigators. See and hear what they capture, where they captured it, and how they captured it. Right now on Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence.
Welcome back.
We're all here.
Yes. Except for Lourdes.
Well, Lourdes is somewhere special.
She is.
Yeah. So before we start talking, there's something I want to share.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Ron.
So cute.
That is Lourdes with her granddaughter, Janelle Lourdes. I think the last name is Rodriguez, if I remember correctly. But that is the baby's name is Janelle Lourdes.
I know. I love that. When I saw it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the best.
Mm-hmm.
So cute. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Woo-hoo.
Look at that.
Yep. She's thrilled. So she's in Florida right now.
She looks so young to have a grandbaby.
Right?
Oh, what? We look old?
Yes.
We're matured. We look matured.
Well, not Cherie and Alice in Wonderland. They don't look old.
Aw, thank you. But I don't have grandbaby yet, so not yet. Hope.
We do.
Keep that dog away from the rabbits or you're gonna.
Right?
You'll have barking rabbits in the backyard.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Thank you, Morales. I was corrected on the last name, Morales. I've not met her daughter's boyfriend's father, the little girl yet, so the name is newer to me. So yes, it was Morales. Thank you for correcting me on that. I got the first and middle name right.
How awesome is that Ron doesn't know it, but Melissa Blackman does? How awesome.
Most of Facebook probably does. She posted stuff today, and the outpouring of positive comments and just nice things being said was, even for her, I think, was overwhelming. So again, for every instance of drama with somebody anonymously calling somebody out because they don't have the adulthood to go at them and talk personally, for every one of those instances, there's this where you have everybody in the community from all over, the people who know her and know us, saying stuff like that. People like Jenny Colucci. So yeah, it's really nice. I think the support and then people genuinely being happy for her, and in this situation is really cool.
That's awesome.
It's way out.
So she's thrilled. So I'll start first. My weekend, you're looking at it. No, I did 2 events last week, Friday and Saturday, with Anthony Simonelli, and they were great. But it did feel odd. I think not just to me, but to everybody else, that it was not the 2 of us. It's just like, everybody knows it, and we're so used to working together on this stuff. But we did a early 1900 museum called the Columns Museum in Milford, PA. I was telling you earlier, they had this huge flag on the wall that was used to wrap Abraham Lincoln when he was assassinated. It has his blood still stained on the flag. So from a historic standpoint, it was just unbelievable. Wow. I had no idea that was there ahead of time. And then with our friend Patrick and Cassie, me and Anthony Simonelli did a Masonic Lodge Saturday night where we ran Staticom in one of the upper floors where people usually weren't, back in the day, able to go. And it was fantastic. More chatter, more vocals at the lodge than there was the night before. It was a little quieter the night before, but that's my weekend. And other than that, quiet here. Back to you.
How about you, Tony and Tree? What'd you guys do? Were you still sick?
I know, poor guy.
No, we packed, cleaned, took stuff to storage, took stuff to Goodwill, sorted through
How many times we're moving?
I know it never ends.
I know.
But we sorted through about 90% of the garage, went through everything, packed tools away, took Christmas items to offsite storage, fishing stuff, camping stuff, just trying to whittle things down. We're going to end up probably March, somewhere in March, probably. Just because this lease is going to end, and then they skyrocketed the rate, and it's ridiculous. So.
Sorry to interrupt you, because there's a lot of audience right now in the chat room. I am so sorry I can't post your comments. There's so many, but yeah, they're all there. We'll just say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, I'll try to watch some of it too. Melissa Blackman's with us. Genghis, ERRT Radio, Ronald is with us. There's a Facebook user in the chat also. Jenny Colucci, Mary Beth Remmer, Roger, who I think has been signed in since 1944.
He commented at 1:37 a.m. only 26 hours to go or something like that.
No, he made one that said 5 more days or something.
He's so cute.
He's just toying with us now.
But speaking of Masonic Lodge, there is one that we got granted permission to go to this coming weekend, but I don't think we're going to be able to make this one because my brother's coming in from Wisconsin, but we'll get back there. But yeah,
that's cool.
That would be way cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. And they got they have like these huge royalty chairs up in front, and it's these huge columns, and it's really cool looking.
That's cool.
Yeah. I'll see if I can send a picture to Chris. Maybe by the end of the show, he can show it. I got photos from it. It was amazing. I'd never been in a place like that before. I think Anthony said he had been before, but I had not.
They have
it
this.
It was amazing.
Chair.
Yeah, they're huge.
For the king. I'm just kidding.
For the king.
For the king.
We were trying to think of something that we could do, go out and ground ourselves and, maybe do some antiquing like we normally do to try and pick up on stuff, maybe feel some energies and all. But it was 70 degrees and pouring for 5 flipping days in North Carolina.
It was over here too for 4 days. It was raining. It's so depressing. I'm like, I'm not used to it.
Well,
It's bad.
The problem is when that does it here, roads wash out and rivers overflow into fields. And it's like, you know what? We'll just stick to the main highways. We ended up going to the RV show downtown just to poke around a little bit because we had nothing else to do. Had to get out of the rain. So.
Yeah.
That's cool, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that here, too, but it was warmer. It went into the 50s and then 40s, which for this time of year is a little bit above the average. Had it gone lower, we could have been looking at snow. So
we woke up Saturday morning. It was 64 degrees out, and it got up to like 72 with the rain. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then it's supposed to be back down into the 40s by the end of the week.
Yeah. Winter's not over, but at least so far we haven't gotten destroyed with snow.
Don't forget Ron.
Yeah, don't forget Ron.
I know, cute little Ron.
Cute little Ron. What the hell was that?
I have no idea.
I know.
Oh, Lex as well. Oh, that's funny.
That is hilarious. No. Sorry.
This is the first time I'm glad to be excluded. I don't even know what's going on.
All right.
No,
We keep the show off with a bang.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for
wherever
that.
you are.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Well, all right. On to our guests.
On to our guests. We have people.
We have
We
people.
have some people.
We have some people.
So tonight, guys, we have Todd and Carmella from 222 Paranormal Investigation Research. They know Ron and Lourdes. They've been out with them a few times.
Yep.
I would go through their bio, but it's huge. Ron has been, Todd has been investigating, and I would pronounce her last name, but I don't want to hack it up. I'm gonna let Todd do it when he comes in, or Carmella.
I've had to learn it. I had to learn it. Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't try then. So Carmella and Todd met in high school through mutual friends, and it took Todd 4 times of asking Carmella out before they officially started dating. And 33 years later, they have 2 sons.
Oh.
And now that they're older, they found out their weekends and evenings are free, so they decided to start their paranormal journey. They started in their mid-20s. So guys, they're going to come on and they're going to act like new investigators. But we're talking over 30 years of investigation experience. Everybody say hello to Todd and Carmella. Hey, guys.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good.
How do we even come in after that last comment? That last user, it looked like was from Twitch. Like, we were dying laughing.
I didn't even notice that, but you're right. They are from Twitch.
Oh, they are from. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were from Twitch, so I recognized the little icon when you put up the.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
There you go. There's the last one.
Oh Jesus!
It is now.
Apparently.
Nice. No.
Oh boy.
Yeah. When the show's over, we play Naked Twister. It's very fun.
Well, but at least we're growing. Now we're on Twitch.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And look how that's turning out.
Not Twitch.
You sure it's not Grindr?
I'm not even going to take my toe to the pool on that.
Yeah.
So no, not a swingers group, but we do like to have fun.
Absolutely.
That is true.
Yes,
That is true.
that is hilarious. This show is never boring. Never boring.
Kokotajlo?
You got it, Ron. Kokotajlo.
Kokotajlo. Or Coco for the lazy, which I have now become.
There you go. Yeah,
I was actually going to guess close to that. I'm glad I didn't because I still would have screwed it up.
The J's silent. It's kind of like an I. It's Polish. So
Yeah.
Oh.
It's silent like the pee in swimming.
there you go.
Take your time.
You know, when you read it, you don't want to say it because you don't want to screw it up. But when you guys say it, that's a kick-ass last name. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What have we gotten?
Hawaiian. Are we from Hawaii?
We've gotten Hawaiian. We've gotten
Really?
Which makes sense because there's a guy in the group looking for pineapples.
See that?
there
That
you
could be
go.
upside down.
Okay.
I know too much about it. That's nice.
All right, guys. So I know you guys have seen the show before. It's your first time on. You got to tell us what got you hooked in the paranormal.
Go ahead.
I'll try not to talk too much. Everybody that knows me, I'm a talker, so I'm going to try and let her talk a little bit. But yeah, we just, like I said, our bio, we've been together since high school, 34 years, going on 26 marriage. And basically, when we took family vacations or family meetups and stuff like that, we would go on haunted ghost tours. So we, Alcatraz, Philadelphia, Philadelphia ghost tours, Lambertville, New Hope, and that always kind of piqued our interest. Never just at raising a family, we never got into the formal, what we're doing now, the investigation aspect of it. Key West, should I bring up Key West? Key West. Well, we did a cruise, and then, what really kind of piqued our interest was when we did the ghost tour, we were going around, and then the last stop was, I'm not going to say his name. His actually, our son is his name. It's,
See, I put it out of my memory
sorry.
because I don't want you to talk about it.
A certain doll that's associated with Key West.
The one that's at the fort.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now the lights are going to flicker. Something is going to happen.
We did that. And like I said, then we got our opportunity to, we had actually down the street from us 20 years later, we had the opportunity to start investigating. And down the street is a old abandoned restaurant, the Columbus Inn. I think, Ron, you were there. built in 1812. You did a Staticom. We were not there. We hadn't met you yet. And
That's
then,
right.
Great place, activity. Just unfortunate. We got invited on a, we went to do a ghost tour because they were going to do like ghost tours and stuff like that, investigations. And then we kind of followed and got along with them and stuff like that. And then one thing led to another, and then we got invited to investigate with them. And then now we started our journey into investigation, and have met some great people in the para unity, paranormal field. So it's we enjoy it. It's a fun thing to do.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It definitely is.
You want to talk?
Not really. I'm the silent partner. He does all the talking.
So,
Well, I'll talk on behalf of you guys for a second, because we have been in the field with you before, and we always talk about the quality of the people make up more of the fabric of the field than the quality of the evidence. And you guys are definitely of the finest quality. You're good people. You do good work. Anybody who watches the show and has seen countless references to Anthony Simonelli and food, and specifically the cannolis that he had brought to a couple of locations. Well, when we did this winery in South Jersey, but was built in the 1700s a couple of weeks ago, you two showed up with a box of cannolis for everybody.
We did.
I'm not sure, don't quote me on this, but I think you're in Anthony Simonelli's will now. Yeah, that's right. For everything, and one time on his show, he called you Chameleon.
Chameleon.
Hey, look, there's Lourdes Mima Gonzalez.
hey, Lourdes.
Congratulations,
Hello,
Lourdes.
Congratulations. So happy for you.
Lourdes, did you see the picture we showed in the beginning? If you didn't, Chris will pull it back up.
I could show it again if you guys want to see it.
Christoph Allgod. That's his name in the telemarketing community.
Yeah.
Christoph Allgod.
There she is.
There she is.
Artist.
Beautiful.
Proud
There she is. The little granddaughter.
Just adorable.
So cute.
Just adorable.
So, and she feels the same way about you guys too. Like I said, we've been out in the field with you. Was the first time we worked with you, was that the New Egypt
Yes.
Yes.
Historical Society? So that was, and Tony would appreciate this, that was a really profound Staticom moment, because Danger Close, who's one of the people who runs Ghosted Magazine, left the room and he went downstairs for something. He came back up into the room, and out of a silent moment when it was running, you didn't hear any vocals, the voice goes, "Danger, he's in the room." And everybody stopped, and Todd and Lourdes were the first two to hear it. But I think Todd even more so. I heard it right away.
It was crazy. Like, that was my epiphany moment, hearing Staticom, because you have to train your, obviously that you didn't have to train because it came through so crystal clear.
Yeah.
So it was pretty epiphany, and that kind of has transitioned, our, how we kind of saw TV shows and stuff like that, how we approached a little over a year ago with investigations, boogie woogie woogie or whatever, that type of investigation thought process. And, and then actually, now having seen you guys with Staticom, Ron, Tony, and then just seeing the connection with, Chris and Audra and stuff like that, that's changed our thought process from, ghost investigation to now really trying to communicate with spirit, doing spirit communication and stuff like that. So,
yeah, no, you guys are great. Every time we do a library lecture presentation or an event or something, we look up at who's walking in, and there's Todd and Carmella. Always there. And Tony knows, because Tony goes on sometimes and does a live Staticom session, and I'll hop in there. I wonder who, there they are. They are there.
Yeah.
They are there.
And the one night, and I have to tell this story because, and it's a very short story. I was doing this. I started earlier. I thought, well, a couple hours. It went like 5 hours of Staticom. Like, people kept signing on and then leaving, and then more would come on. And then Lourdes had saw, I guess, that Todd was on. I guess him and Carmella were watching for a while, and it was late. So the next day she goes, "What time does Todd go to bed?" And I went, "Whenever I tuck him in."
I think it was like 3:30 in the morning, but it's like you get passionate about something, and then it's like time flies by, and wanting to learn about it and learn about the method and the whole research process, and
Yeah.
We've learned a lot just from watching you guys, and and then other investigators that you've had on this show. So it's helped us become hopefully better investigators.
Yeah, you guys can't avoid progress. I think, like I said, you know how to function in the community. You guys do really good work. You're fun to work with. People are going to want you around for both of those reasons. And I was personally excited to be able to do this and have you guys on, because I know you have good stuff, and I know you guys do good work, and you've watched the show enough. I said, you know what, we need to get them on.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Lourdes is not here, but she's watching.
She's watching.
She's watching.
She's watching, so at least she's not going to miss it.
Audience.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Yeah, we really appreciate having the opportunity to share some of our findings and stuff like that with everybody.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you guys, Todd and Carmella are so fantastic. He sent me his stuff a week in advance, and he sent me his Dropbox of everything he has. And then I'm like, is there any specific ones you want? So he gave me a list of ones that they wanted to show, and then he goes, pick whatever you want. And I'm like, okay. So I spent a half a day on Saturday and only got halfway through what Todd had sent me. And I got to tell you, these guys act like they're new investigators. The level of evidence that they sent is phenomenal.
So are we going to have a part 2?
Because there's some stuff in the file that I sent Chris, and even I think I sent it to both Chris and Tony. Some of the stuff, because I joked with him when I was chatting beforehand. I know we don't want to make it like a 3-hour show or a 4-hour show, like a Statacom session.
I could have.
So, but yeah, now we'd be happy to come back on and share, some of the other findings and stuff like that. So
Awesome.
forward to it.
So
I can't wait.
let's take a look at some pictures that you sent. Now,
I like when we get pictures. I think sometimes pictures get dismissed too easily, as though it could be I know where that is.
I
You
know.
know.
Yep.
And I was there.
They're together.
I was there when you took it. Yep.
What was the occasion of that night at the Ritz?
Oh, it was Lourdes' birthday.
It was Lourdes' birthday.
Look at that.
wow.
See what I mean? See how these guys are?
But
All right.
that's me by myself sitting in the auditorium. You can see
Oh,
that.
okay.
Well, I can't point to it. You can't see it.
And evidently, this is what you captured.
Yes.
Yep. And that's obviously old school Polaroid, and that was at the Ritz Theater. It was a public event. Actually, I think it was our second time meeting Ron and Lourdes. And then actually Anthony Simonelli and Rich Michella were there doing, that whole evening. So it was a great event and a chance to a great opportunity to investigate. And
That's a cool theater. I remember when you shared that Polaroid that night, that there was, just for people, this is not the first time on this show right now that this piece of evidence has been part of an in-depth discussion, because they went in depth that night to what could have happened, what it probably wasn't, and there was very high level of situational awareness, Mr. Allgood, which I know you appreciate when it was taken. So I think a lot of the possibilities of maybe it's this they had already discussed.
we when we took them, and being new to investigation, we had learned, hey, when you're taking photos, regardless whether it's a cell phone, a camera, Polaroid, take multiple pictures. Well, if you saw, I think one of the other files that you have, I think I wasted a whole 8 shots from the one whole rack of the Polaroid
We've
camera.
got multiple pictures of this.
So
I want to start out by saying, guys, I wasn't there. I've never been to the Ritz, but in a theater situation, usually your floors are older wood or concrete, correct?
Yep.
You got a wooden stage back here in the background.
Yep.
Correct.
You've got curtains over here probably somewhere that you can't see in the picture, correct?
Yes.
These plastic back seats have cushions on them that are covered in fabric, probably a red or a blue fabric.
It's red.
Pretty standard in a theater.
Yep.
And your walkways are probably sometimes lighted when the lights are on, maybe not like a movie theater, but have carpet going down them, if not concrete or wood.
Yeah, they're carpeted. I don't know if they had lights on them.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe Jenny would be able to chime in and.
Jenny Colucci's in the chat, and Jenny Colucci is.
I don't remember them
with the.
I don't remember that either.
That's a parasite location. She would know.
Yeah.
Okay. Lori says red fabric.
No lights. Okay,
No
so there's no lights. So this is an older theater because it's the Ritz. And the reason I'm saying all this is because I'm setting the stage. This is not a mist. This is not a mist caught on camera because there's nothing inside this building. So even if this building wasn't climate controlled at the time that you guys were inside of it, it would have been a consistent single temperature in the building. Unless you got near an exterior door or something, then your temperature would have changed a little bit. But there's nothing inside this building that's going to cause a moisture wicking area where a section of heat's going to cause a humidity, or the floor is going to be warmer than the air in the room that's going to cause some kind of a humid mist or like a fog. That's how it's created in natural environment. There's nothing in here that's going to cause this.
Right.
So you take away from the environment.
So the whole reason I went and took the sequence, a series of these Polaroids, was for what reason?
I was just sitting there and I kept saying something's here. Like it got cooler, and I said, "Oh, is there anybody here?" Did you send the recorder, the voice?
Yeah, I think I sent the voice recording to you, Chris, also with the with the little girls. Sounds like a little girl's voice commenting. So that's why these whole series of pictures were taken, because I was behind her towards the back of the theater, and then she's like, "Yeah, I'm feeling something. Feeling like temperature change and stuff like that." So I said, "All right, let me grab the Polaroid and I'll start taking pictures."
So what is the light on the top right corner?
That could be because I know they have IR camera, infrared lights. I think potentially. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, you know what I think it might be? Is this a picture of the picture?
Yeah, so that's like a picture.
If you look really close, you can see Todd's reflection up here.
Yeah, so that's my reflection all up in there. So
damn, Chris, you're good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice job, Chris.
Yeah,
seriously.
I forgot. Yeah, that's I'm pointing, but yeah, you can see my shoulder.
Yeah,
shoulder. See that part of the shoulder.
Glasses. Yeah, there's his nose.
Yeah. So that's that part of the reflection that you're seeing. And then that light in the upper right-hand corner could be from, where I took it in the house.
So, and also when you're taking pictures, Todd, do you do 2 shots or do more than 1 shot?
Yeah, he said he took like 8 of them.
Oh,
yeah,
8 of them?
Yeah, you'll see the sequence that I sent to Chris. So I just did those individually because you can see, right, how it started out and then it went
closer.
Getting a little close to Carmella.
So what I really like about this is, so not only we've taken out an environmental cause to cause a fog or a mist or something into that, some kind of humidity in the room, we've taken all that out of the picture. Yeah. Now with this series of pictures, we've also taken out the fact that it could be a flaw in the Polaroid. Right. Because now it's over here and it's a different shape.
Right.
That's a good
not vastly different, right? Like it didn't go from something elongated to something like circular. It's different shaped, but it's kind of along the same, almost like a little cyclonic, right? It's got a little bit of a
look at how focused it is, though.
Right.
Compared to the other shot where it was much more spread out. It's severely focused right there.
It's more materialized right here, because you could think for a minute that might be back on one of these chairs, but it's not. It's higher.
That's right.
Here.
Right.
Yeah, no, Tony makes a good point.
Yeah.
It is more concentrated. He's right.
Yeah, right down here.
It's really next to Carmella.
Right next to.
Who said she felt cold?
Yeah, that's why she felt cold.
Coming down, head looking down.
Yeah, it almost looks, Audra's pointed out, it looks almost like somebody standing there. Like, here's an arm.
Right.
Here's a waistband for some pants.
Yep.
Looks like somebody's like looking down at you, Carmella. Like they're
right.
You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Just sitting here watching a show.
So let's go to, that was B, where's C? So here's pictures of.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, these guys do good work, man. There's no one shot and let's have coffee. Not with Team Coco. No way.
No, that's right.
Team Coco. But if you look, each one of these photos is different.
Right.
So it's not a flaw in the developing of the film.
Mm-mm.
Well, that's what we keep saying. Take another one in case it's like the roller. Take another one.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I said, don't tell me what you see. Just wait till we're done.
Yeah, after it developed, it was like, yeah, there was definitely something. Reason why you were having the sensations you were, it appeared to be something that was, near her. So
what's crazy is it looks like it's floating above the chairs here, so it's not like grounded.
Right.
You can see the human figure as well.
Yeah, you can see the outline. It almost in that first one looks like it went from next to her to up on stage.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the one where they're all numbered is pretty much the sequence I took them as far as 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's a 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then you'll find with the color contrast when we get to them, the one you were saying, it almost looks like somebody standing there. Upon further review, you could definitely see some. It almost looks like a more figure shape, like shoulders and a torso.
In this one, Carmella completely disappeared.
Yeah, where am I?
Yeah, she was like, "All right, I'm getting up."
I guess I said, "Yeah, I'm done."
Yeah, she's done.
So, did you move closer in 6? Or did you change seats?
I tried to, because it was dark.
I think I stayed where I was.
Yeah, she stayed where she was, and then I was trying to be consistent, staying in the same position. But
Gotcha.
I didn't have it on tripod, so I'm. It's dark. I'm trying to keep my sense of balance.
So here's those contrasts.
Oh
wow.
So that number 2, that if you zoom in on that second one, where it almost looks like there's a head, shoulders, and the torso.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Legs.
And legs. Yep.
You're right, Tony. It looks like it's standing on the stage.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
So let me point something out with the Polaroid. When you change the contrast, if this was a flaw, it would pixelate like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if you look, there's a spot here and a spot here. That's probably the rollers from the Polaroid as it ejects.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is behind that.
Right.
Very cool.
See the surface of the picture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Face.
Is that what it is, Chris?
Face there?
Is there a face in there?
I'm pointing again, but you can't see it.
Not there, but more like towards
maybe
now.
not.
Maybe it's just the
Maybe it's
pixelation
just the
or whatever.
pixelation.
Might be the pixelation.
Yeah.
But still, that is behind the surface of the film. So that was captured in the picture.
Right.
If this was a distortion, see how the distortion's here from the roller?
Yeah.
It's here from the roller. You can almost see the shape of the roller in this distortion
Mm-hmm.
as it's ejected. This is behind the surface. So this was actually in the picture.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Great observation.
Yeah.
And how much research did you do on Polaroid film before tonight's show? Because
Zero.
those are great observations,
yes,
Chris.
Yes.
Yeah, they really are.
That's impressive.
I was born in '73, and that's all we used to have.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
I remember. Trust me.
Actually, I used to use the Polaroid a lot.
And you remember that case from California? We had Bill Murphy and John. What was his name?
Yeah.
They were on the show with the Polaroid ghost case that they had out there.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
With that specific type of film, with the writing in white. I guess that they were trying to say it was like ectoplasm.
Yes.
Because despite the movies in Ghostbusters, it's not actually green.
We'll see, and here it is again. See how you get the surface wrinkles of the film?
Yeah.
This is behind it in the picture.
Jenny, Jenny's going to be taking all kinds of Polaroids in the Ritz Theater now.
Yeah, everywhere. Jenny was with us Friday night at the Collins Museum in PA.
So it would behoove you guys to look into the background of Polaroids and how the surface, how it develops and how the surface works, and how the picture actually develops behind that surface, that flat surface that's actually This is actually crimping. So the diamond designs on the side is actually crimping that holds the different levels of film, the different levels of the film portion of the picture. That's what holds it together. Like a picture frame. So these diamonds are actually a crimping used by the machine. And if you notice, it goes all the way down to the bottom.
Yeah.
Very neat.
Wow.
And I used to do a lot of Polaroids, and I did a bunch of research on it, so you could determine what roller marks were and what was. So you could when you captured an image, you could tell if it was a distortion in the film or it was behind it. And they said by looking behind it, by seeing the crinkling on the surface, if what you're seeing has crinkles on top of it, it's actually caught in the photo and not caught from the rollers.
That's awesome.
Some information.
Any question, Todd?
Yeah.
No, with your, I love your analysis, and going to ask if you're going to do a analysis 101 class.
He should.
Yeah, I mean he does great analysis and break down and explain things easy to understand, especially as for us as relatively new investigators.
Yeah. Don't play hide and seek with him. Fool's game.
What's amazing is you can see the difference here. So if we zoom in, so you see the wrinkling here and you see the wrinkling here, but the figure's not in this picture.
Right.
So if this was a distortion caused by the camera, it'd be in the same spot.
Right.
And if you took these pictures as series of one after the other, another thing that causes distortion in Polaroids is when it's exposed to different types of light. Right. So if you do one outside, you do one inside where there's light, sometimes you'll get a double exposure, sometimes you'll get an overexposure. But these, if you're doing them all inside at the same time, they're getting the same exposure, so they'll develop the same way.
Gotcha.
And that's the huge thing about Polaroids. If you snap a bunch of Polaroids during an investigation and you're gonna Christoph Allgod.
Christoph Allgod.
So if you're gonna use a Polaroid like you guys did, you did the most fantastic thing you could. You let them all develop in the same light. So what happens when you get distortions is if you walk into the other room and some of the ones that you took 15 minutes earlier developed in that dark room, and then 15 minutes later you're developing more in a second room with different lighting, it can distort the image a little bit. It'll develop either faster or slower, and sometimes it'll develop too deep to where you guys did this all at the same time, which is fantastic. You can disprove that it's a light distortion because it was all done in the same light. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
But the biggest factor is looking at that surface wrinkle. So a Polaroid will always have the surface wrinkle. And this is behind the wrinkle, or you wouldn't be able to see the wrinkles.
That looks really cool now, right? In the contrast?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Let's look at the next set.
Hey, over there.
And this is a different contrast. Which is interesting because now it's not there at all.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Which tells you. So that tells you
there and then to the light.
Say that again, Todd?
I said that the two top ones, she's there, and then the two bottom ones, I think she at that point she had gotten up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That makes it interesting because now you're adding a different spectrum of light or a different color spectrum.
Right.
Great captures though.
Very great captures.
Beginner's luck.
All this is.
Yeah, no shit. Well, the best thing is that you can, Carmella saying, hey, I'm feeling something, and you start snapping photos. You did exactly what you're supposed to. You just kept snapping the same series of photos from the same angle in the same spot. You let them develop the same, and then you change the contrast, and you had this.
Oh, yeah.
So we can talk through this, so you guys might want to.
Yep.
Here we go. That was really soft.
That was
Yeah. Was the sound shared?
Yeah.
Because I didn't hear anything.
No.
Yeah, we can't hear it.
It's really, really low.
Let me stop sharing and reshare it. I know I shared this audio. Let's try this again.
Hi.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, I heard it
yes,
that time.
I heard it.
Yeah, there was no question that time.
Yep.
Let's play it again. There it is.
Hi. Hi.
Yes.
Here, one more time.
Aw, the voice is so cute.
Yeah, young girl. It sounds like.
Yeah.
What's
So,
it?
you know, that theater has a lot of history, and I know it's, you know, they do a lot of plays and stuff. So even back then, so it could have been, you know, back in the day when it first opened, you know, a little girl there for a show or something like that, and somehow was attached, or maybe just somebody passing through, you know, spirit, you know, from the community.
Right.
Because the whole, you know, that
That's awesome catch though.
It is.
Yeah, that's a cool location, man. Parasite did a great job putting that place on the map, because I think if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't know about it. That's for sure.
Right.
What's interesting is the little girl's voice doesn't match the size of the figure.
The figure, right?
Right.
So
Oh,
Little
Yeah.
voice, but big person.
yeah.
Maybe a tall kid.
Who's to say what the measure of a spirit or spirit energy would be, right?
Right.
Doesn't necessarily have to fit into the physical body of a person.
Right.
And it was in the same location too. Could have been a second entity
right.
besides the one that was pictured. But what Chris pointed out was the most important thing, I think, is you've got corroboration between the feeling of the cold, the images and the pictures, and then that.
Now you have that
Yeah.
captured voice.
So yeah, you got all the pictures, you've got the movement, you've eliminated environmental sources, you've eliminated the fact that it's the Polaroid film, and now you've also got Carmella feeling the cold, which is a sensation you shouldn't feel a temperature variance sitting in the middle of the room. In the middle of the room, you should be feeling an ambient average temperature, whether it's climate controlled at that point or not. And then you've got the voice on top of it. I mean, that right there, what you guys just did in those pictures and in that one little voice, corroborated by Carmella's sense and feeling of what she felt at the time, you can't ask for a better piece of evidence.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're fortunate and, you know, excited that we captured it. So
Awesome.
Wow, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, that's cool.
we actually, and it was one of the files that I sent also there. We could share the second time, but we went up into that upstairs, Ron. There's that upstairs dressing room. It was me, it was Carmella, myself, Jenny, and Rich was up there, and we did a Q&A session, and we had a REM pod, and the REM pod was sitting next to me, and we started doing Q&A, and Rich was asking questions. You know, we were getting direct responses. Jenny could probably, you know, remember, if she remembers this, you know, attest to it. Yeah, it was, you know, it's a great location, so it's, you know, well worth.
Yeah, so that high fam that just showed up was Courtney Peterson. For some reason, it's not showing up on StreamYard. And Anthony Simonelli said that he drew. There is a spirit of a little girl in there. He said he drew her.
And I saw her
And you saw her too.
because we were sitting there and it was a curtain, and he drew her to the curtain.
Oh, that's
And I
right.
said, there's a little girl in the corner, and he's like, "What?" And I went over and go, "That's who it was."
Wow.
The girl stays behind the curtain.
Yeah. So one of the things that, you know, kind of, we've been together so long, not only having sensations, I'm trying to get her to, you know, she tells me some stuff. She has dreams, and, you know, I think she's sensitive, and she's always nervous about opening up to it. But she's always telling me that she, you know, when we go on investigation or even here in the house, or she'll have dreams about, you know, family members that have passed and stuff like that. So it's, so I told her, I says, don't be afraid of it. I says, you know, or nervous about it.
But what happens when I say things? You look at me like, "Oh God."
Yeah, because it's just,
never mind. No.
So it's like, all right, are you crazy? No.
So where were Where were they? Not White Hill. What was the one in Bordentown? Remember they were watching
White Hill Mansion.
Yeah, you guys were on the third floor, and I turned and I looked, and I said, "There's a little girl in the doorway." There's no girl there. I'm like, she's right
So
there.
your 4. She's talking about your 4 mansion.
Or mansion tour.
Oh yeah, she watched the episode of the 4 mansion tour. Tony wants to do 7 mansions next time, but we're still not sure.
Yeah, or just wasn't enough to kill us.
Right?
So watching on the replay, she was like, she's seen it after the fact. So
Like, she's
it was
a little girl, long hair. He's like, "You're so specific with what she's wearing." I said, "She's right there." And he's like, Go to sleep. Are you dreaming? Are you all right?" I'm like, "Oh, whatever. All right, never mind."
Wow.
Wow.
But she wasn't there when we looked back again. I didn't see her again.
That's interesting. You saw her one time watching that episode, but not the other time watching
But
it.
not when he went back.
when I did rewind or whatever just to see it. So
How sure are you that you saw her the first time you saw her?
I can describe her to a T. I could see her. She was in the doorway, a long white nightgown on, long brown curly hair, a headband in her head, and she was just standing there.
Lourdes is in her chair jumping right now. She's watching this. Yeah. Welcome to the wild world of consciousness.
And he's like, "You were sleeping." You were sleeping. I'm like, "I wasn't sleeping."
You perceived something that impinged on your reality, and then the second time you went back and play it, it had nothing to do with the episode necessarily, but it had to do with your experience and perception at the moment you watched it. Right. Now it's not there anymore because it was not part of the recording.
Right.
And coming from 2 sensitives to you, Carmella, that is the biggest validation is when you get it that quick and you can describe it to a T.
Yeah.
It's right, and that's what I did, right?
Yeah, she did. I
mean, you saw this when we were up on the 3rd floor?
The 3rd floor, yeah.
Wasn't the door that went to the room with the ladies? That's the end of the hall, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So don't discount yourself when it comes in that fast. I've told other sensitives that have reached out to us, other people that have started coming into their abilities, and said, "How do you deal with it?" You've got to know when the imagination starts, and usually when it's drawn out and you get way too detailed, then you know your brain's kicked in. But when it comes in fast, fast and goes out.
But you know what, Chris? Even that too, because imagination is an endogenous process of consciousness. It's still, the difference is that imagination is, to what you're saying, is engendered, in you. It arises from within you. It's not something being perceived on the outside, but it's still a conscious experience. And the fact that whatever was in play the first time she watched it had that effect, but the second time she watched it, the same perceptual instruments watching the same footage didn't perceive it the second time.
Right.
So if it was something mechanical or something that had to do with processes in the footage that pareidolia her into it, it would have repeated.
It would have repeated. Yep.
I would think.
Yep.
Right.
That's really cool. And then to have that much detail that you can speak to it.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That is
why
fascinating.
didn't they have kids? Why would they bring kids with them? He's like, "What are you talking about?"
What did you have a little girl in this haunted house?
What's happening?
See? Quality evidence.
That's right.
And cannolis.
Don't be afraid of it. Set up your boundaries when you enter a location. Tell them what you'll allow. Tell them what you won't allow.
Right.
Yep.
I'm getting there slowly.
And be prepared to see something that's going to scare the hell out of you.
Oh, I'm sure. I have. I have seen things and I'm like, "Yep, nope, walking away."
Yep.
You stay here. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
And it was just fun I was looking at. I don't know.
Yeah. What's awesome is when you see it, you point it out, and other people see it too.
Oh, that'd be awesome. If
That-
other people
yeah.
can see it. Yeah.
Ask Tony about the Montgomery house.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was awesome.
That was so cool.
So when we were at the Montgomery house, there's a little girl known upstairs as Sarah. And that was the most active she'd ever been, is when the 6 of us were together.
Right.
And I saw her up on the stairs, and I went, "Oh my God, she's right there. She's on the top of the stairs." And it's the first time that Tony had seen an apparition in full.
Right.
Yeah, actually, I saw her. It was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was the one that kept calling out to Lourdes too, right? On a couple of the recordings.
He called out
Right.
the Lord 3 times. I
Okay,
bet.
what was Tony's reaction when he saw?
Let that
I saw her twice actually. Once when we were standing at the base of the stairs, and then I saw her again. I saw her stick her head through the window when we were outside. I saw her again. Then we went up maybe 20 minutes later, turned Staticom on, and that's when I got the response that said, "And Tony Rathman can see." So it was really cool.
Raul. Raul's funny, man. He's a funny dude.
Raul's a good person. I saw him. He was doing a couple of reels. I saw he was up at the Devil's Tree, North Jersey, up doing some footage today.
It's actually funny. We've gone on investigations with people, and they do the dude, like PPIT says, don't do the dude run because it's not safe, and we don't run from it.
I ran once.
What happened? So we were on an investigation. It was with Danger and a group of Danger, another gentleman, Eric that was with us at the winery, Matt and Lori that we investigated with, another couple. We were at the Atlantic County Courthouse, who had their last public hanging in 1908, and then there was a couple other people with us investigating. Paul, I think he might be with Parasite, and then a lady friend that he was with, and you were with her. What happened?
She just we were in a stairwell, and she started screaming, "There's something up there! There's something up there!" And she's also slightly deaf, and she kept saying, "I can see it, I can hear it." So I'm like, "Well, I'm not standing around. I'm like stuck in this little room." I just ran. I ran out the door and down to the elevator. I'm like, "I'm done. I'm done."
If the definitely can hear it, I'm out here.
Get out of Dodge.
That was the only time I ran.
Wow.
All right. Do you want to do the Pennhurst next?
Sure. Yeah, let's do Pennhurst.
Why not?
Yep. Whatever you want to, however you want to throw it out.
I don't know.
All right. Let's do the Pennhurst laser grid. This is a great piece.
And we're looking at Everett's comment because Donna Lynn is watching from Toronto.
We've actually had people watching from Japan. Remember the one lady that from Japan?
That's really cool. Japan, Australia, Canada.
There was the one lady from
UK.
Yeah. So this. So before we play it, this was I think we were on an investigation with it was Carmella, myself, another investigator, Kelly. And we were with, were we with members of Future Ghost Paranormal? I think we were. It was a private investigation. So members of Future Ghost Paranormal, who we were, we know and we're friends with, they were in a different part of the building. We went down to what is called the, Candyland, and
well, we were the only ones there.
Yeah, we were. It was nice.
Outsiders.
There was
It
nobody's
just our
out,
group
just
in
us,
there.
just our group. They were in a completely different building. We were just the three of us in the basement, and then, just before this, I Chris has it. We can play it on another show potentially. There's actually a whistle before this before this clip that you're going to. There's us walking. I kick something. I say it's me. Then I stop. You hear a whistle, which we didn't hear at the time, and then we go to then this happens with the laser grid. And we're just we have the laser grid, I think Phasma box, and then we had, Spear Talker. I think the Spear Talker app. So it kind of, apps we're learning, how accurate or valid are they? Timing and relevance. That's all I like to borrow Ron's timing and relevance. Everything just kind of the sequence of the Q&A and then how it happened, where the laser grid goes on and off. Not just once, but
let him watch.
So, quick question before I play the clip: was this the push button laser grid or the twist on?
I'd have to ask. I don't know.
That was yours. Was it the green one?
It may have been
twist,
Kelly's. I think it may be push button.
Okay. Either way, not an easy feat. So here we go.
Oh, it was Kelly's.
I think it may have been Kelly's.
set up any devices. We're going to stay here all night. Can you please touch one of the devices for us? Whoop, whoop. Did the battery die or they shut it off? Well, let it be. Can you turn that back on? Thank you. Thank you. Does that mean you want us to leave so you can rest? Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. All right. We're going to let you rest. Thank you for communicating with us.
So, yeah, it was Carmella had the Spirit Talker app. Kelly had her Spirit Talker app going. I were asking questions, so I wasn't being antagonistic. I was like, hey, playfully, hey, joking around, hey, I want to, if you could share some, let us know that you're there. Jokingly, I said, oh, we'll be here all night, which you're there till 3 o'clock in the morning. So it's almost like you're there all night. So jokingly. And then I started to ask something. And then Kelly at this simultaneously gets, do you believe, come across her Spirit Talker app. And then it goes off. The laser grid goes off for the first time. So then it's like, oh, maybe the battery died. Mm-hmm. And then you hear me say, oh, wait. And we both had the same thought. Maybe it was spirits did it, right? Let it go, let it be. And then I asked the question, was that you? Can you turn it on? Boop, pops back on immediately.
Yeah.
And then I asked that last question, do you want us to let you rest? Can you turn it back off? And then instantaneously it went right back off.
That was great.
Yeah. Wow.
And I don't remember if I did it consciously or subconsciously. I panned and turned, and you can see Kelly is not right next to the chair. He's standing a couple feet away from it. So what I did, I think I may have done that on purpose, but I don't 100% recall that. But
see that's where your timing and relevance stuff matters, because this idea of having to bring things into a lab to be able to recreate the event, sometimes contextually, that's where it happens, right? That's something that's going on is within the environment you're in, or at least maybe connected to. Could something go off when you say something? Yeah, but I mean, in that many instances, when you asked and it was specific at the time you said it, the argument against that being anomalous with that kind of timing and relevance is almost completely incoherent. I mean, what kind of luck would you possibly have?
Right.
Yeah.
That it did it when you asked, not another time.
She's always playing the lottery, so let us know. We'll.
No, but you're absolutely right, Ron. If it was a one-time occurrence, because you said, well, maybe it was just coincidence. But that two or three times, he said, well, if that was you, can you bring it back on? It came back on. It went off. It came back on. It went off. I mean, that's.
And for the science-minded people, this is the reason why statistics have a place in measurement in science, because this stuff is supposed to be paranormal, right? Which is in opposition to the accepted paradigm that this stuff doesn't exist, and if you can't measure it, it's not real, right? So when you do something that's in league with the accepted worldview, one time is enough to go, see, it didn't happen. But when you do something that stands in opposition to the world instantiation, the way everybody thinks the truth is, then you have to do it again. And you have to maybe do it again, because now you have chance odds that factor in that something could have possibly happened. That's where statistics come in to this scientific method of when we do this kind of stuff, is because you're going against a paradigm and a belief system, not just documenting occurrences, because one time alone is pretty fantastic. But there's a lot of us are this way. We're critical. And we go, well, could have been, even though you experienced it. Happens the second time like that on command, the way you asked for it, Yeah, lottery tickets. That would be my next move.
Yeah.
Well, you hear us laughing, like, you know, we're chuckling, and it's like the reason I'm chuckling is not maybe it was a nervous reaction, maybe, but it's like because it's like, holy cow, did that really just happen? And it's like I can't, you know, being an investigator, it's like, holy cow, like, did that just really happen?
Well, let's throw a couple more variables into that. Anybody that's ever worked with laser grid knows that if the battery's getting low, it doesn't blink on and off. It slowly dims.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And then you take the reason I asked if it was a push button or a twist on, because if it's a push button, it takes quite a bit of force to turn it off.
Right.
If it's a twist on, it's not going to turn off that quickly.
I forget because I have one. I think that's a push button, and then I think that may have been Kelly's. I'd have to reach out to her and just to get confirmation.
90% of them are push button.
Right. Yeah.
I've seen a few twist on. I used to have a twist on. I got rid of it because it was a pain in the butt. But even the twist on, when you twist it to turn it off, it gets dimmer, like the battery's dying because you're losing that connection.
Right.
So if it was twisting, then it would have gotten dim and not just clicked off like that.
And then the one, if it was mine, I know that mine, it came with a little plastic clip that actually pushes and holds it down.
Yep. Mine does too. Yep.
Yeah. I'm laughing because Chris at some point has to put together a presentation with situational awareness. And part of the situation you're in includes your equipment and knowing how it works. I didn't even know that there's the push button as a majority of them. Some of them are twist, and how that would maybe factor into that with the battery dying. That's really interesting stuff to know, because you could, on the strength of that information, explain this away and debunk and go, you know what, that wasn't what you thought it was.
Right.
If you could show the connection with that. But again, when you go back to the timing and relevance, that's 2 times, you know, that Todd goes, hey, do this, do that, and it happens. Now you add to it what Chris added on top with the, you know, the way the equipment works itself. That's the other thing. I don't know if you did or not too, but if you have like a battery thing, like a case that you have spare batteries, a lot of them, if you buy them online, the things to put batteries in, if not, I'm sure you get it separately. You may even have, if you have a voltmeter, you can take those batteries out and test them right away. And if the strength of the battery is still good, then you're dying batteries out of the equation also.
Yeah, I think that's all right. Something for her to go on Amazon and order.
If you order it now, they'll be there by the end of the show, probably.
Right.
With it.
No, you got to order $25 to get it the same day.
There you go.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Just an excuse, Chris. Don't give her an excuse to order more stuff. $5.99 voltmeter.
Okay, so get to the ground and ghost. That was Penhurst also, right?
Yes.
All right, so let's do that one.
Yeah.
Which one was this? This
Get
is
to the ground.
Oh,
We're
get to
in
the
that
ground.
room.
So that was
When I
Candyland was
say-
in Devon, I think. This is the 3rd floor of Mayflower, and me, Carmella, and Kelly, we were up in the room, and I actually had just sent you the video as corroboration, just to, you know, kind of, I originally sent you the EVP, but yeah, we didn't hear it at the time, but you hear,
I didn't like that floor.
you hear
Mm-mm.
in that, it's like the end when you get to the 3rd floor. Ron, if you guys have been there,
one time.
Tony and Sheree, if you guys have been there, when you get to the top of that 3rd floor, so you have a hallway going down this way and one going that way. Well, this was the one all the way down to the right. And then just before the end of the hall, it's the room, I believe, on the left-hand side. And we were in there walking around. And that's what I was doing. And then the 2 audios, I just broke them down to be shorter for the show. But there's like 1:48 with the video where you actually hear the get to the ground first. And then I asked about, you know, did you die and get here? Or, you know, are you here? Were you hurt? And then you hear another anomalous voice.
Oh, I'm just going to show the video. And this is the area where they used to keep the prisoners, correct?
No, I don't know.
I don't know that. I don't.
Mayflower?
In the Mayflower.
I don't remember too. We were there. We're going to be doing the Penhurst Paracon this year, so I'll be going back for a second time. But the one time I was there, I don't think there were prisoners kept in the Mayflower.
That was like
I'm not sure if that was that the one with the children's room.
Yeah, down at the end. That's with the children's room. Down at the end, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. So here we go.
Is there anybody in here with me? Can you tell me your name? male or female?
Dust. It's a ghost demon web. Wed. Dust. Screwball.
Can you tell me how old you are? Can you talk into this device for me that I'm holding? Are you stuck here? How many years were you a patient here? Did you die here? Can you tell us how many people are in this room?
Yeah, so that freaks me out, especially the last one, the ghost. I know it's a little delayed after, but
so
it's a creepy response.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's do this. This was the first one. It was about midway through. Let me go ahead and play this one.
Yeah, this one is a little bit enhanced.
Can you tell me your name? Are you male or female?
Dust. It's a ghost demon web. Wed. Dust. Screwball.
Can you tell me how old you are?
Feet to the ground.
Yeah, get to the ground there towards the end.
Yeah. Very clear.
But before that, I thought I heard get some cigarettes.
It could have been secrets. And I didn't. It could have been secrets. I heard you say secrets, and I want to say it is in there because when we
there's something more there.
Yeah.
But it's it was like one thing is enough, but to have multiple. Response.
Right.
There's a lot of voices in there. And before that, there's a lot of chattering too.
Yeah.
Right. So we were, it wasn't a traditional everybody be quiet. So there were other, in the other adjacent rooms to us. So that's what that chatter is that you hear.
Right.
But
they're whispering because this one is kind of like this environment. Okay.
Yeah, there were people in other rooms. I think
Gotcha.
I'll be right back.
Yep, you're good.
So let me go ahead and play this one. This is the second one. So here we go.
How many years were you a patient here? Did you die here?
Oh, wow. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I heard something.
That was way clear.
Yeah.
Very, very clear.
That was good.
It sounded like there was whistling in there too. We heard it.
Really?
Right near there.
Right before ghosts, it sounded like a whistle.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, we didn't, when you watch upon watching the listening to the audio and then watching the video, the whole the whole entire actual footage and stuff, it's like you don't see us react as to actually hearing it, real time. But
I can't wait to meet them when we're in Gettysburg.
Everett, I think it's get to the chopper.
But he's hearing that one in that that's funny.
No, the reason I asked if this was in the area where they had the prisoners, because get to the ground would have been common.
Right.
Interesting.
But, and then, so depending exactly at that, who knows at what type of response and what time period that response may have been coming from, to where it could have been, an older patient or something like that, to where, they could have been acting out or something like that. And maybe one of the employee staff saying get to the ground type of thing,
Yeah. And Todd, maybe you can speak to Raul's question when he asked what device or box was being used. But just a quick statement: was there not fire?
There may, I think in the Mayflower, there might very well have been a fire in the Mayflower.
Because that could also account for any kind of historical significance to saying get to the ground.
Yeah, true.
Fire.
We want to get a Ovilus. Oviluses were a little bit hard to get when we started investigating. Purchased, it was it's called a Polterscript from
okay.
So, and it was, just a word bank. So same thing, using it, relevance, timing.
Right.
So that was what Carmella was holding. So we used that. I haven't really used that recently. We do have the Phasma box, which is a form of, IPC that we use for communication, during Q&A sessions, the REM-Pod voice recorder. So we try and use a little bit of everything to cat balls. To try and get capture.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'd like to see if that fire did happen in the Mayflower.
That would add relevance, yeah.
Right. I remember from when you were kids in school, right? The whole stop, drop, and roll thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They get fire drills. They make you practice fire drills. They always line the kids up in height order, which I didn't understand. I figured, well, maybe they thought the tall kids would burn longer. I don't know.
They had the 30-minute rating where the shorter kids were only 15.
Just my guess.
That was hilarious. All right, we got 4 more pieces of evidence. How about Carmella basement growl hiss?
Yeah, that's New Egypt. This was back in 22. This is November of 22. And we were all in the basement.
And the basement's a little scary.
Basement's a little, it's been known to be a little bit weird.
Yeah.
So you'll see with the experience that you have. So.
Oh, you want me to explain it, or we want to watch it first?
Either way. You tell us.
You want us to play it first?
Yeah, please.
Play it first.
Okay.
Here we go.
I don't like that. I don't know what that was. It was like rattling in the corner. Did you hear it?
I heard something. Yeah, I heard something. Yeah, I heard the corner. I don't think that came out of that. That didn't come out of that. What the fuck? I thought it came out of that too.
No, I said, tell me how we can help you in the corner. Wasn't this?
That wasn't that.
No. Yeah, that was. I know.
Yeah, I heard it too. I thought it came out of that box.
That's awesome.
No.
She's
I'm out.
The camera was small little body camera, so it was more audio at the time, and it was outside across the way from where she was in the other part of the basement. But
Well, I was just in the corner of the basement. That you had the grid on me too.
Yeah, we
And
had the
I
laser
just
grid on her.
kept saying like, "How can we help you? What can we do?" And then it just made this noise in my right ear, and I just froze. And then you see his head come in, Eric come in. Like, what was that? I'm like, I don't know.
We thought she had the Phasma box. We thought it came from the Phasma
didn't.
box, and she's like, "No, that came
It was
from
out of the corner over here
in the back corner of the basement in the room where she was at."
Wow. Yeah. And I got to thank you guys for that clip, because we cannot get through a show without somebody on a clip going, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, we were like, "What the?" You know, we were like I said, that was very that was our second maybe investigation.
Right. It was fairly new, and they kept saying,
"Oh,
"Don't
wow."
by yourself." And I'm like, "You should never be alone. You should never be alone." So they pressured me, and I went in the room alone.
Peer pressure.
And then I yelled and ran.
Peer pressure. There's nothing better than getting a direct voice response, though, when you know it didn't come from anything else.
Nope.
Remember that one we had in the Globe courthouse? That little girl or whatever. Oh my gosh! It just came out of nowhere. That one I remember very clearly. But that was awesome.
It's old. It's an old brick, basement. Ron, I don't know if you've been down there, right? So that back room where that, where the hot water heater is, and then there's like that arch. So we were sitting there. It came from that back right-hand corner.
There's a door there.
There's like just a old, a door that's not being used or whatever. And it's just a door for the inside. There's no outside entry into that part of the basement. So it's like, was it an animal? Was it, something we were trying to get in? But she didn't want to stay around long enough to find out.
Understood.
And that was kind of a thing too, wasn't it, with Danger Close from Ghosted Magazine? He did not want to go down to the basement of that place.
He doesn't like the basement.
He was down with us too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was down there with us.
Didn't he got scratched or something down there? Didn't he?
Yeah, in the same room.
Yeah, so he didn't like going down there anymore. Brick and stone make good amplifiers.
Hey,
I wouldn't Tony, you can back me on this, right? I don't think brick and stone would amplify the sound because, amplification would happen through resonance and
correct.
It's possible.
The best it could do is if there weren't a lot of other objects, maybe create some type of echo, but it would not amplify the original source.
Well, no. If the room was bigger and the ceilings were taller, you might get some ambient noise bouncing that could cause it to sound like it was maybe louder. But in a small corner basement with the muffling of the next floor above you, and was there any sides of those walls in that room that went to the exterior, or were they like surrounded?
Right. Everything was there's just a little, doorway kind of going into that portion of the basement, and then it's basically a square room,
but not to the outside.
But not to the outside.
Yeah, and I think it would speak more to and then Elvin just asked another question about it maybe bouncing. The echo part of it's more probable. You could have amplification through resonance if a frequency within the structure matched one of the frequencies that the sound came in at. The problem is that I don't know from an audio standpoint if there's any conductive properties with the stone that would amplify it.
No, because the older bricks in those older buildings were made out of clay, hardened, heated clay, and they actually used a clay mortar in between. So if anything, it would dampen the sound. It wouldn't echo it or amplify it. It would actually somewhat absorb it because clay is actually somewhat porous.
Right, because that was one of the testimonials I did in Knowingly Talking to the Unknown, our docuseries, had to do with how frequency and resonance and vibration worked for the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, the first one. It was in 1940 or something. It was taken apart by resonance from wind. And you would think it was like 150 mile an hour wind or something because you're thinking this big, massive structure. But it was a 40 or 43 mile an hour wind that took it apart, because it resonated with frequency in the bridge, and they kept building, and it built amplification, and eventually the bridge came undone.
Right.
That's part of what gets incorporated when they build those things now, is so that to have that happen. So I don't know if on this scale it would explain anything. And then the fact that you're saying it was made out of clay, I don't know if there's much resonant properties in that.
I think it'd be more of a sound barrier than an echoer.
Yeah,
I don't think it would have had much to do with the actual components of the building. I mean, as you know, static resonance, the only way to amplify it would have been if there was some sort of background white noise in the environment of the building that would have projected the voice further. But other than that, the components, the materials of the building makeup probably would not have had any amplification effect.
So, yeah, no, he's right. As a matter of fact, if there was any resonance that had any kind of amplification, it would be within the structure of the brick itself. It wouldn't be something that would be outwards audible.
Right.
So that makes sense.
We're taking notes over here. But Alvin, that's a good point. Alvin I work with, he's a coworker at the prison.
Oh, cool.
And then we always have discussions. He's a good guy. And then Lori, who also commented in the chat, Lori and her husband Matt have, we've been on investigations. They were all there when this all went down, and not a lot of people like the basement. Whether it's kind of the type of entity, or it could just be spirit, trying to make contact. The reason why you might scratch.
Yeah,
Laura, you're absolutely right. I forgot about that. We forgot about that Estes session with your daughter, and she didn't like it either.
They're nice people too.
Yep, very, very cool. We learned a lot, and we're actually next week we're going to investigate with them, and then we're going out to Gettysburg in a month.
Nice.
Awesome.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
All right, so the next one we got is Catball REM Pod, Selma's bedroom.
This was this was I think just before Halloween this past year, and it was like a public Halloween thing that Selma Mansion Historical Society was doing. So I said, oh, let's go. So we had never been there before, and that was our first time investigation. And we got there, it was like a private investigation because there was literally 4 of us. Beth, where we had first met, Beth and friend Mike, investigators. It was weird. So we were in that, I think, was it the 2nd or 3rd floor? We had the cat ball and the REM pod, and you might have to turn your brightness up on your screen to see the light anomaly. But basically what happens is there's a little white anomaly that drops straight into the chair where the cat ball is, and then there's a REM pod on the floor. Simultaneously, they illuminate and go off or triggered as the white anomaly drops into the chair.
Oh.
Wow.
Here we go.
Can you tell us your name, please?
Catball just went off. That's cemetery.
Wow.
Originally, when we were doing a review, I didn't even see it until I made the brightness on my screen a little bit brighter, and then you actually see the white anomaly. So if you can go back and watch it, or you can turn your screen on brighter, you see it literally drop straight down. And that was Mike. He was walking by, passing it. He's behind the chair at this point, not touching it. And then there's just a wall on that. There's no window. The window's over to the left. It's just a solid wall over there. And then you see, boop, it drops right in, and it was pretty amazing when I saw it. When we saw it, it was like interesting.
Wow.
Is that a Selma mansion?
Yes, Selma Mansion. Yep.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, so I wanted to see it again. There you go.
It's actually more, Chris. That may even be one there, and then that actually might be Mike as he's exiting. Can you move your cursor kind of towards the middle for a second? Right, kind of where the front armchairs are. So now a little bit to the right or your left. A little bit more other way. Right in that area. So when you turn your brightness up, you'll see it. It literally drops straight down in there.
Yeah, my screen might not be bright enough.
Yeah, mine's
Right there?
As far as it goes.
Right in there. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's right in that area is basically where it drops straight down into the chair.
Yeah, I think it's that right there. Because my screen's not bright enough.
Yeah, I had to turn it up to like 100% brightness or whatever to actually see it. But when you have a chance, definitely make it brighter, and you can definitely see it.
All right. Ooh, now we're on some Gettysburg stuff.
Oh, cool.
I like this one.
We love Gettysburg, but sleep-wise, she doesn't. Not so much.
Oh, no?
A lot of energy in Gettysburg. A lot of energy in Gettysburg.
Oh, I know. I kept telling him, 3 a.m., please get up. I can't take the noise anymore. Get up. I can't sleep.
We'll do the light anomaly first if you want to, Chris. And that was, we just went out. This goes back to March of last year. We just went out for like a date weekend. And I brought the stuff, equipment, K2 and stuff like that. We were one of only 2 people in the building the entire weekend. And then when this happened, there was nobody, just us. Because it was like March 26th and 27th. So it was at the end of going into from Sunday into Monday, nobody was in the building. And we were hearing constant knocks. I can sleep. I always joke, like loud noises can go off, explosions. I'm sleeping like a baby. Her not.
I can't sleep either. The cat farts and it wakes me up.
Me too.
All right, here we go.
So what? Yeah.
So we're blaming the cat, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
It's actually Audra. I'm just saying cat to be nice. All right. Here we go.
There's the trail.
So weird that just sits there.
So that was right at the end of so on the full spectrum camera that we have, that capture literally happened right at the end of, always the case. Why couldn't it happen like mid file of the file?
Right.
Literally right at the end. So when that's the end of that file segment, and then it goes to the next one. When I went to the next file, it was gone. That was slowed down. Actually, I think Danger was fortunate because I was still learning how to do stuff, slow down stuff. So he was kind enough this was Danger's work that he did this and slowed it down. And when I said, we joke with him, during investigation, he will, Mike is a little, skeptic, a healthy skeptic. And he was like, it's dust. So that was a big joke. We would, it's dust, it's dust, it's dust.
Well,
3 o'clock in the morning. What happened with this?
What?
You woke me up. I was.
Oh yeah, at that point, I couldn't.
Wow.
Believe it. There were footsteps. There were banging. There was doors, banging on doors, but we were the only ones there.
Yeah, and I saw too in the comment that Raul had said that it looked like maybe it was a bug. So the orbs is it's the part of the field that it could be a bug that's not explored as much as it is ruled on. There's more conclusions about orbs than there are investigations or experiments on orbs. I'm not confident enough to speak to them as any kind of an authority because there's a lot of variables involved.
Right.
I think bugs and dust a lot of times are the scapegoats for these things. That seemed to be odd that it kind of hung around. I guess there's your possible behavioral pattern that would maybe link it to a bug where it would hover somewhere. But to
It
take a
changes
book from the
direction
book
multiple times.
Yeah, and to take a page from the book of Christoph Allgod, Private Investigations, when it hovered in that one spot, the little ring part of the structure of the chair, you could see through it.
That's what I was just about to say. Like,
Yeah, so
right
the
here.
invisible bug population, to my knowledge, not very large.
And being a horticulturist and having to identify, dealing with plants and stuff, there's no insects that I know of when I'm looking that you can see through. Type of insect. And not just there on that part of the chair, when it's lower and it's kind of a little bit harder to see, you could actually see the floor pattern through the anomaly. So
right there.
Yeah.
You can see it there, and then you can see the chair behind it here.
Now there's no wings on it. It doesn't have.
No, that's what I was going to say, Ron. Especially when it's in slow motion, even a bug in slow motion, you can see the flapping of the wings. This has no body structure or wing structure. It's not a bug. Now, what it is, could it be dust? Yeah, it could, but it's not a bug. I can tell you that without a doubt. It's not a bug.
Well,
this one.
Looking at this though, if this was dust, how often are you in a room with just one particle of dust?
Right.
Yeah.
So my other question, like I said, we're learning and to be able to help us when we're reviewing footage and stuff like that to kind of identify the difference. That it just, why isn't there any other particles of dust, which there were in the room, because I've seen them on other parts of the footage and stuff that we took from the room. You can see different dust particles going different ways.
Yeah.
Why is it just that one specific dust particle that's doing what it's doing?
Yeah, I think Roger's asking a question. I think this was full spectrum.
Yeah, it was full spectrum. Yeah,
that's why these conversations have to happen, because I think that this area is full of a lot of speculation and a lot of convenient fictions. Like, we don't know necessarily, right? But we have answers that are pre-supplied to us, like a multiple choice, and we feel compelled often to check off bug or dust because those are candidates a lot of times, and a lot of times that is the case of what it is. But when you've got one particle like that, and it seems to be structurally coherent, it seems to be moving in odd patterns, it hovered somewhere, it's translucent, it doesn't have wings.
Well, and normally too, situational awareness, right?
I can see
if this was one dust particle that was in this room floating around, you're not going to have 8 to 10 different currents of air flowing through a room.
Right.
This thing changes direction so many times. There would have been, so you got one direction, 2 direction, 3, 4.
There she is.
5, and then it hovers 6, 7. So it changes direction 7 times. It's very rare in a room that you're going to have 7 different directions of air traveling within a. So that's the bottom of a chair. So you're talking 32 inches off the ground to 36 inches off the ground. So within 2 to 3 feet, you're going to have 7 different air currents moving this thing in different directions. That doesn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Do I know what it is? No. But
it comes up from the floor. And...
Right. That's a good point, Todd. It seems to emanate out of the floor. Like, it's not in the entire video. At some point, it just pops into existence. And then you start observing a pattern of behavior or movement or both. And it doesn't, like, its origin, it just kind of like becomes visible.
Right. Well, and it gets to a certain point to where it almost looks like it's emanating light. Mm-hmm. Like right there.
Yeah, like self-illuminated.
Yeah.
It's just weird. I mean, like I said, we're willing. Hey, if somebody's able to definitively say, "Hey, it's dust," then somebody that's like I said, it's just a weird. It's an anomalous capture that we, hey, given the location of where it was captured, this was the Union Hotel right off the circle of downtown Gettysburg.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Which was, I didn't know it at the time. We went out there cold blind, and then. Really not this. So this was our first time to Gettysburg. it was. I told her after the fact that we were in the room. I said, "Oh, by the way, this was used as a field hospital." So
Yeah.
the buildings were. So
I'd almost be interested to see. Too bad you didn't have this video also with an IR light too.
Yeah.
Instead of full spectrum, because it'd be interesting to see different lights and light portions of this video to see if you can see it in the other light. That's
That's what's hard about it. What you mentioned with the different wind directions, and then the pattern of the movement. It looks volitional. It doesn't look
so. I got
accidental.
up. Yeah, I got up. When she got me up, I got up, picked up the camera, and then I was just kind of turning around. So there may have been gentle air movement. I'll give that much. I was kind of turning. You can see I'm turning and moving the camera or whatever. But at that point, where kind of at that last segment, I'm pretty much standing still. So, like I said, there could be just air movement from me, kind of, that could cause it to change that direction. That's a thought, I guess.
Yeah. Can you put Raul's comment back up about experiments with? Because I didn't get to see the whole thing, but there you go. Control experiments with dust, gnats, etc. IR, full spectrum receivers. Yeah, that's a great idea. Because I think that's part of the problem. 99% of the times when people rule on orbs and what they think it is, these haven't been done. And I think if there's any way to equip the environment at the time of capture to rule some of those things out in advance, the same way we do with other stuff, right? We don't whisper during EVPs. We'll make sure that there's nobody in a distance that could be misinterpreted as voice from somewhere. So there's got to be a way. Maybe you can have an environment that's clean. There's no air conditioning vents on or windows that could, make it as foolproof as possible, and then run those experiments and see if you can find different ways to compare results and stuff. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I think the level of conclusions outweighs the level of experimentation in the orb category.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I'm completely claiming ignorance on that myself. I'm not an expert on video or photo evidence, and certainly not on dust. Though I have missed cleaning a couple of times. Don't get me wrong.
Well, I even do the same thing. I'll get light anomalies and I'll dismiss them. It's dust, it's bugs. The only one I've ever said was evidence is the one we caught at Trans-Allegheny, because it was flashing and it had a pattern and like it was walking down the hall. But for the most part, if I see something like that, I dismiss it, but that actually has some good quality evidence to it.
And that's why, we're learning. That's why we shared it. And hey, to us, it's a pretty interesting capture, and it's to help us learn in the long run, to help us become better investigators. So
and when you slow it down, you can actually see a path,
like a light trail behind
it. Trail.
Yeah.
There you go. It's helping us all learn, because you opened up a discussion that's probably not had often enough.
Right. Agreed. All right, we've got one more. This is the Rainworth Lodge cat ball rules.
Yeah. So this was in, we stayed out. This is a great new location. Daniel Bonner is the owner. This was Getty's, the Battle Bash weekend when we met, I think Chris and Audrey, we met you guys for the first time. We were out there, and then, we were there Friday, and then this, I think, was Saturday night. We were there Saturday night and a Sunday, and we were doing just a Q&A session. This was in the house. The history of the house was, it was a field encampment for General Reed, who I think on the battlefield there is a monument or a section that's dedicated,
But it doesn't have anything to do with Gettysburg.
It doesn't have anything to do with Gettysburg, but then we're doing a Q&A. We were doing a Phasma Box session, and Carmella's brother, we passed away a few years ago. We somehow got onto the line of questioning, and then we thought we heard Chris come through during a Q&A on the Phasma Box, and then just out of nowhere, we're doing the questions. You remember it was talking about winning the lottery and, want to share the money, this and that if we hit it. So it was this sincere and genuine moment, thinking that we're making potentially, having our brother come through, whether it was in spirit, we like to think so. And then when you hear the question, and Carmella's talking about it, and he's like, "Oh, what am I going to win?" And the Powerball. So it was like Powerball, Mega Ball. So I had the ball reference into what she was talking about, asking. And then there's the cat ball. There's 3 of them, and only one rolls. So if somebody actually touched it or moved it,
but didn't roll off the table, it
Didn't roll
rolled
off.
back to me.
yeah, kind of
So
just
rolled
rolled.
away and then rolled back to me and then stopped.
And just one last thing, one of the we had that pretty neat session at the Lodi Library where with the Statacom session where Chris came through, and I know that was one of the files that we could share another time, but just
Part 2.
part 2.
Yeah.
To us, it's like I said, we've gone more to the spirit communication aspect, and
I'll share the money, I promise.
Yeah. She's not even a grandmother 24 hours. She's already into gambling.
Oh, it's all right.
Baby needs a new pair of shoes.
That's right.
That was true though, yeah, because her brother came through, and there was a thing, right? You said he used to pinch your arm in the same spot, and on Statacom it said
Very
what
specific
spot.
question. Yep.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Where did Chris, if it was you, what did you do to Carmella? You hear pinch, same spot, rub it, and that's exactly you would do as like a nice little friendly way of greeting her at family functions and get-togethers and stuff like that. That's what an older brother does, right? So.
Yeah, that was cool. My father and his girlfriend Ginny were at that library event where they met you, and I told him about that because they remember hearing it from that night.
Pretty neat stuff, and a little obviously emotional, because of the context of.
Yeah.
But it's it makes you think about everything that you guys are doing with Statacom about what is after. As Chris says so eloquently, our meat bodies, right? Or our meat flesh. What's after this, right? Consciousness, right? We're born and raised Catholic. So
How do we get off the subject?
No, it's
Play
just
the clip.
play the clip. I get talking.
That's all right.
Off subject's what we do here.
It is.
It is. All right, here's that clip.
Chris, are you afraid of your sister? Baby. I'm a baby or you're a baby? You win. I heard you win.
Did
I heard. That's what I heard. You win. Share with everyone. Oh, whoa.
Did you just touch that and make that ball move?
It's still moving.
That's crazy. I got that on camera too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Who touched that? What's your name?
I heard Chris.
That was cool.
I heard Chris did. Yes.
Yes.
Wow, that's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So that's you got 2 other cat balls on there, and then you can hear. I know it's a little hard maybe with the replay and with StreamYard and stuff or whatever, but you actually hear on the Phasma box, you hear it almost sounds. There's a female voice that says, "Chris," and I want to learning from you guys about with Statacom. Maybe it was a spirit guide or something, just kind of confirming, hey, that was him that potentially touched it.
Yeah, possible. But you know what the best part about that was? Not only getting the vocal in on the experiment as well, but you didn't get just the cat ball to light up. You got full movement out of it. When there were two other ones sitting right there that did not move.
Right.
That adds absolute additional component to it because the other two didn't move. The other two didn't light up. This one lit up, moved, and you got a vocal sort of response to it. So that was great.
There's a significant part of that video that you guys are missing. When that ball's rolling and it's going back and forth, as it goes away, it comes to a stop.
Right.
Like somebody stopped it and pushed it back.
Can we play that again?
Oh, yeah, I'll play that part. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's no explanation for why momentum would have stopped and started.
Now watch as the momentum goes away towards the REM pod. It's like something stops it and pushes it back the other way. Here we go.
Oh, whoa. Whoa.
Wow. Did you just touch that and make that ball move?
It's still moving.
That's crazy. I got this on camera too.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Who touched that? What's your name?
I heard.
Do you guys see that?
Yeah.
Tony's right too. Whatever moved it gave it almost like an oscillation, kind of like it didn't move it in a direction where it built up any momentum. If the table was pitched at one direction of the pitch would have taken over, right? It wouldn't keep going back and forth. Maybe once, twice, but not that many times.
Almost as if there's like a finger on it, kind of doing this.
Right, exactly. And to Chris's point, it goes forward pretty quick, stops, and backs up.
Yeah.
Right. So put that, if you can, that last comment, inspectors, paranormal investigations, which is a really good question because you have to look at everything, right? That's an excellent question.
That's actually Ash.
Oh, that's Ash?
Yeah, that's Ash.
I love the logo.
And I was actually going to ask that too. You know, could it be the actual just the composition of the ball, the exterior of the ball, or even in that case, like he said,
I think that could only speak to the continuity of the movement. I don't think that can speak to the initial push because the weight was there the whole time.
Right, and the inertia behind it in the original push would have kept it going regardless of the weight of the lights and stuff in it. And once it made a full rotation or two, that rotation would have continued in that direction, and it doesn't. It stops and reverses.
Yep.
And one reversal, okay, maybe there's a ridge or bump, a defect in the table, it goes back the other way. But I mean, that was like a very small, self-contained action comparable to a pinball machine.
Right. Right.
Well, and you guys have also seen it where you have an off-centered weight on a round object. When it starts rolling to a certain way, it'll roll in the same pattern like Tony was talking about.
Right.
Once that weight is centered, that inertia will continue to go in that same way. But this doesn't. It goes and it stops, and then it rolls 2 or 3 ways this way, and then it goes and stops, and then it rolls 2 or 3 ways. That center of gravity would have stopped it in both directions.
Right, and the amount of energy it would take to stop it, reverse it, get it rolling again. I don't know that would happen from a bump in the table.
It's kind of like doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody's.
Yeah, I mean, could it be possible? It could, but it's not. It's not common at all.
Yeah.
It would have to be a very strange situation in the table or curves within the table to make that happen because it is not moving to begin with.
It might slow it at first with the first inertia, like Tony was talking about. It might slow it at first, but it wouldn't stop it completely like it does.
And reverse it. No.
And reverse it, right.
No.
And if you look at the table, there would have to be one hell of a dip in that table for that thing to have that much inertia.
Yeah. And there's two different things that we're addressing here, not to be conflated, right? You're talking about describing the behavior of the object and the movement. But what Tony mentioned before, I think is prime, is causality is completely anomalous here. What started that thing to move to begin with when there's two other ones that did not?
Right.
And
the The laws of physics say an item at rest will remain at rest. An item in motion will remain in motion. This thing not only is at rest, goes into motion, but stops, changes direction of the inertia, and backs up the other way. That's not common of any physics from a rotational aspect.
No, totally agree. And that highlights the fact that the causality is what's the mystery here. How it starts moving and then how it moves in the pattern it does is really, really odd.
And then right at the beginning, actually before it starts to go off, you actually see it start to move initially without the light being triggered. So
right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it moves a good 3.5, 4 inches before the light even starts.
So that's interesting. It's very minimal amount of time between when that thing is supposed to light up from when it's touched, right? But that moved notably before the light came on. I don't know if that's a mechanistic thing, but it's moving before it. It was something touched it, affected it. That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it is. It
really
is.
I have to tell one last story about this. So the door into the
that was weird.
So there was Kelly, who was with us, wanted to go outside and investigate. The door has an automatic 15-minute time lock on it. So you're not keeping time when you're doing a session and you're doing Q&A. He was asking. We got a creepy laugh that came across the Phasma box. Simultaneously, we're like, "Oh, do you want Kelly to? Is it okay if Kelly goes outside to investigate?" And then you hear a deep ha ha ha, and simultaneously
the door locks.
You hear like the automatic door locking simultaneously. It was just one of those
weird,
strange occurrences. And Kelly was like, she's standing up, and then she's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to go out." And she sat right down at the table. I'm not going out.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Real quick, guys, in case y'all didn't see it, one more time.
One more time.
Yeah.
Lourdes.
There she is. Loki di Mima. Yep.
All right, Todd Carmella, this is the shameless plugs. Where are you guys going to be? Where can people come see your stuff? Do you have any Facebook pages? Do you have YouTube? Anything?
Put up your own.
Just this.
So just our matching 222 tattoo. So
222 paranormal.
It's just kind of a place. So we only have one location that's on TikTok. It's 222 PIR. It's just basically a place it was a spot for us to kind of place our findings and stuff that we wanted to share. So it's not like, it's really for the research and investigation aspect to try and further the paranormal field and learning from all you guys experienced, investigators and stuff like that. So that's really right now. I might open up create a Facebook page, but right now it's just a TikTok. And then
it's just us.
It's just us. And then we have, like I said, another group, Matt and Lori, that we still investigate with, who we originally kind of, have helped guide us and, help us, techniques and stuff like that. So we'll basically investigate with anybody. So we're just, it's about learning and learning about the field a little bit more. Like I said, even though we have done it for 20 some years, kind of ghost stories and history tours and stuff like that. We're babies, so to speak, kind of like.
Yeah.
Don't say you'll investigate with anybody, because there was the guy with the pineapple thing earlier that might be calling.
Definitely not that. So yeah, location wise, next weekend we're at West Hill Manor, and like I said, we're fortunate where we're at. We're in Columbus, New Jersey, so we're fortunate. We have White Hill Mansion is literally a 15-minute drive for us.
Oh wow!
New Egypt is 15 minutes. Fort Mifflin's 30 minutes, maybe 35, depending on traffic. So we are just blessed with being, where we're at. But we're going to be at West Hill Manor, which has Masonic ties to it, that watch over have taken over the care. And then another place which is 10 minutes from us, I think John Rogerio and had investigated. It's called Peachfield Plantation. It's in West Hampton. We've been to Mount Holly Prison, right, which has had gallows and stuff. We're just fortunate to kind of like a crazy crash course in a lot of really great locations, and fortunate to get the captures that we have.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Todd and Carmella, it was fantastic having you guys on.
Yes, it was.
Thank you so much for being on here. Great freaking evidence.
Yeah.
I mean, good God.
Appreciate it. Happy to share it. That's like over a year's worth. That's not even scratching. We have a lot more to share.
Oh, yes, he does. Yes, he does. We could do another show with Todd and Carmella just with the evidence they have now, or not including what they capture moving forward, which it sounds like they're going to capture stuff every day of the week.
And we're fortunate, we don't expect it, but it's like, I don't know. It's like we're new, and it's like, all right, this is weird. Do we, is this normal that we're getting this type of results? So it's like, I don't know. That's why we share it, and we want to get feedback to learn.
It's normal with the fantastic techniques that you guys do.
Yeah, procedure is half the battle, and what you guys doing, you're doing a great job. Just a great job. So you're bound to catch good stuff.
Yeah. And I'll testify to it. I've been out in the field with you. Incidentally, I remember that it was very catching to Lourdes when she goes, what name did they go by? Because 222 has meanings, right, for angelic references and peace and harmony, whatever. And when we started doing direct radio voice, the frequency we eventually landed on that we used for a long time, every time we turned on the world band radio, was 222 kilohertz. That was the sweet spot. So when he said 222, she was like, wait, what?
That's our number.
Balance, harmony, and spiritual alignment. The balance and harmony, we're trying. The spiritual alignment, yeah, probably not there yet.
And this show's not helping.
Help you.
And then, I saw Lori. Lori, they're fantastic. Matt and Lori are fantastic, and Eric and Mike. And then obviously Ron and Loris, we're out there supporting you guys with Staticom and Chris and
constantly.
We're stalkers.
We're slackers. Well, we were glad to have you on. I wanted to thank the audience for coming out. Everybody's always fantastic. Yeah, thank you guys so much. We will be back again next week. Miss Lourdes won't be with us again, right? Next week?
Yeah, she's gone. She won't be back until the 12th, February 12th episode.
Okay.
She's going to be in Florida another week doing her Mima thing, and then her kids are both down there.
Oh, nice.
So that's awesome.
Getting a little family time. And yeah, it's as much as I don't like the fact that she's not here, I'm happy for what, she needed the break. She works hard. We run around doing events like crazy. We have a lot of that coming up. This is important family time that she needs. So
I know in your one comment that you said, it's when you were on the investigations this past weekend, it's a little weird because she's usually with you, right?
Yeah. No, everybody was like, they knew where she was because she shared it, but it still felt like, it was like Sonny showing up without a chair. It's like, wait, what?
Sonny showing up without a chair.
Yeah. That kind of thing. And I think that's an appropriate thing because she has dark hair and I'm short.
Just don't ski into a tree.
I was going to say, but he hit a tree. Don't.
I'm Italian. Right, tree comes after two.
That's true.
Yeah, 2, 3.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back same time, same channel, same 5 people next week. We'll see you guys. Remember, guys, if you don't want to swing in the paranormal and you're not into pineapples, but you want to see some cat balls moving, you got to hang out with Todd and Carmella. But most of all, you got to stay haunted. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Can you give me a name? What's your name?